Hello everyone, this is Plankera, and welcome to my universe. Today, I'm going to continue rigging Shalom from Path to Nowhere. So yesterday, I started fixing up the lower right turn here, and I think it's looking pretty good so far. I think I still want to adjust this outer strand here. It is very, very important. It basically defines the general shape of the hair out here, so very important to get optimal amounts of floof. Get all that just the way And right now, I do not think it is quite round enough. So I'm going to be out here making it rounder. So yesterday, I did my weekly speed paint and kind of got lost in a trance drawing a magic circle and was like, oh no, I have to go very quickly to finish the character that I was planning on drawing. Very easy to do. Magic circles are so much fun to draw. I think I'm gonna draw one in my next super serious piece. Just give myself some time where I can just get lost and draw at it for like 5 hours, and I forgot to turn on my mouth. Hold on. There we go. But yes, I want to give myself more than an hour to actually finish one of those, because that's as much time as I've ever let myself have. And just go and see what happens. That sounds like it'll be pretty fun. So yes, I'm honestly looking forward to starting on that already. I guess the magic circle I posted for my weekly speed page wasn't bad, but I do wish that I could have spent more time on it. It's a little bit empty, and I just flailed around a bit to try to fill it in with colors. Because colors always make things look a little bit more lively. But I do think that one could have been pretty cool if I gave myself more than an hour to finish it. Definitely something to keep in mind. I think there's a lot of cool stylistic things that I can do to kind of develop that style a little bit. At some point, I just need to have something that I want to draw and go through and just make it nice. Give myself all the time I need. Being able to paint leisurely is pretty cool. Is pretty nice. But I do like the intensity of my 1 hour speed paints. They are super intense. It's a good time. I do think it is giving me a better idea of where I slow down on things, and also potentially on how I can limit details in order to make things go a little bit faster. Okay, just needed to untangle those vertices real quick. I think they're mostly untangled there. Yeah, I can kind of follow their route. Okay, and now I should be able to fix up here a little bit more sanely. Things just got way distorted right through here. Interpolation did not have my back this time. But it's alright, just gotta straighten all that out. There we go. There we go. Okay, let's... Actually, I think this is supposed to be tilted this way a little bit. Alright. So, that little adventure was started by a little shadow right through here that was making it difficult to tell whether or not this side hair right here was floofing sufficiently. I think it's doing a lot better now. Just fixing up those last few areas that I felt had insufficient floof. I just love describing it like that. Making things super round and... Honestly, sometimes the way you think about things in your head and finding ways to make it amuse you makes the entire process that much better. So let's be real. I've been probably poking at her hair here for over 150 episodes. 150 hours of hair. And while sometimes I do get distracted and slow down a bit, it's still a lot. It does get a little bit tedious sometimes, let's be real. But describing it in ways that amuse me, like talking about sufficient floof and all of these other things, I think they make it a little bit more fun. I also like just making dumb little stories for the vertices. Like I'm there helping them find a new home. That also makes things a little bit more fun. Helps keep me sane, you know? Well, I'm just poking at all of these little things. See, it's funny. Sometimes it feels like there's not enough floof, sometimes it feels like there's too much. The balance is so hard to find sometimes. I'm actually gonna go hide this for a second. We're just gonna leave a little bit of baldness for just a second there while I really let myself look at this hair. Sometimes you just need to stare. Stare with an intensity that I've never stared with before. Because the balance is fickle. Very, very fickle. Do you know what, while I'm at it, before I go in and finish up all of this, I think I actually wanted to get the outer strand here right on the upper right too. Let's just do all of them. Oh right, and there was something unrelated to all of this. I noticed that the eye here wasn't moving right and it was bothering me, so I'm just gonna go ahead and check that real quick. Oh, is it really? Yes, I do not think you were supposed to be moving at all. Oh, but I had it on that side too, so maybe you were, but I changed my mind. Okay, no, it was fine before. We'll put it back. But the iris there, not good there. I need to bring it back over one. And we'll just keep it symmetrical. 1.5, huh? I don't know how these things happen. Because I definitely did not do that. It's funny, I said that I was just gonna do all these things after I finished all the hair, but here we are. Look, sometimes I see things and my brain just says, no, we're doing this now. And I'm like, okay. See, it's funny, because I've been trying to work on my comic the past couple of days, and my brain has just, like, been full of game design ideas. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm working on the game idea instead. That's going okay, but it's still what I would describe as gaseous. It basically means that you can kind of see something there. If you run your hand through it, maybe the temperature will change a little bit, but you can't really grab anything yet. It's still just a very loose idea in my head. And I think it'll be that way for a little while, especially since I am trying to focus my creative energy on my comic. It just sometimes the inspiration comes and it's not for what I want, and sometimes you just can't fight it. Sometimes it's like I probably could, but if my brain is wanting to do a particular thing, you know, sometimes it's for the best just to let it. As long as I don't have any particular responsibilities for the other thing. Like, with this every day, even if my brain wanted to be doing game design right now, that's not something I can stream. Not yet. Not yet. Maybe in the future, but not yet. And because of that, definitely got to make sure that I can actually work on what I'm working on, as opposed to whatever my brain is going ooh shiny at today. I do think being able to direct your creativity is a very important skill, even if you're a hobbyist. But I think it's okay to kind of let it do what it wants sometimes. Because sometimes the feeling is just so strong that you just gotta do it. Okay, that change is pretty nice, actually. I just did a little thing where I made the top just a little bit wider, so that this way it looks like we're seeing a little bit more of that strand. It's not lining up with over here very well, though. So I think I'm actually going to change the bottom turn instead this time. We're just going to lower this down just a little bit there. Not a lot, just a little. Doesn't have to match up perfectly, like I'm a little bit more insistent with certain other parts of the hair, but I think it's okay for the highlights to wiggle around just a little bit. Let them be free. Okay, there's still some shenanigans, though. There are still some shenanigans here. And here I was thinking about what I was going to do next. But it's like, no, when I look at things, there's still some shenanigans here and there. I should fix those first. See, this is where I'm telling my brain, no, we can work on the other stuff when this part is done. So if you want to work on other stuff, then get this part done faster. Thus demands me. Okay, how do I want to do this again? There's just something off about the very top. And I want to take another look at that. Okay. I think I see. What I want to do is this. Raise it up just a little bit higher here, and pull this part up just a little bit higher. So I want it to be both higher and thicker. And hopefully that will solve that problem there. It helped. I'm on the right track. Now I just gotta perfect it. There was a little bit too high, so let's put it down just a little bit. Just a little bit. I do think the outer ones were okay, so I will leave those there. Just adjusted them a little bit. Okay, there we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Cool. I think that looks a lot better. And it wasn't that hard at all. Just doing a bit of intense staring here while I figure out if there's anything else I want to be doing. And there's a little bit. I want to adjust this little bit right here. The way the light moves on this part right at the bottom. That was all I saw. Everything else I thought was looking pretty good, and I was quite happy with it. Okay. Yes, I think that looks much better now. So, I'm gonna clean up a few areas that look a little bit crunchy to me, and then I want to check the diagonal again and all of the angles that lead into that lower right turn, and make sure that everything is the way I want it to be. And if it is, then I think I'm gonna go do the outside side hair here, up in the upper right. So this way I can just let her nod all day, and it'll make it easier for me to check if everything is lining up the way I want. Yeah, I think this is looking pretty good. Just one spot over here that I'm not quite sure on. I think I know how to fix it though. So if I can make that a little bit better, I think that's worth. So I think if I just push these vertices a little bit closer together, then that will give me that kind of effect that makes it look like her hair is kind of receding into the background. Like we're seeing maybe half of the strand. Okay, yes, and then I think the rest of what I'm seeing is just a result of this hair over on the side here not being quite right. I think the outer edge is looking pretty good. So maybe I should do that first, but nah, I want to do this one. It's fine, we can do this one. Okay, so let's look at the top first. So this time it's pretty much the opposite of the lower right. Not quite the opposite, but I want the strand on top to be looking a little bit thinner. Because now we're seeing less of it, whereas at the bottom, we're seeing more of it, because we're seeing more of the top of her head. And here we're seeing less of the top of her head. So I want this to kind of look like it's disappearing into the background. Try to find the right amount of roundness here. And also try to make everything through here look a little bit less crunchy. I mean, look at that. That's just a ridiculous wave. But I kind of want to make sure everything's in the right place before I clean it up too much. So that's important too. So if everything is in the wrong place, if I spend a whole bunch of time cleaning it up, then it's wrong, then it's like, well, I just have to go back and fix it all again, and then it's gonna get all messy. So one thing at a time. One thing at a time. Let's see, now that I look at this a little bit more closely, I think I actually want the bottom part of this highlight to go a little bit lower. Just... yeah, we got a little vertex kind of out in outer space there. And here we go. And I also think that the highlight at the very bottom here is also just a little bit too low. Or too high. It needs to be lower, is what I'm saying. Sometimes what comes out of my mouth is the exact opposite of what I actually am thinking. Because brains are funny like that. Man, I gotta be careful, because I always, when I'm working on this, feel like it's the kind of thing that I could just tweak forever and ever. I felt the same thing when I was working on my personal model. And I actually just had to make a point of, okay, this is the deadline, get as much done as you can in that time. Hopefully I won't have to do something like that here, and I can just be happy with the way things are after a while. I'm hopeful. I think it's looking pretty good. Just... sometimes it's hard, because I feel like that with every little tweak that I make, it just looks a little bit better. So it goes to follow that I should make whatever little tweaks I want, but art is hard. Art is hard. Because it's like, if I tweak it forever, I'm never actually going to finish it, and then I won't start something else, and that would be a little bit sad. But if I don't tweak it, then... well, there will be a part of me that will always think that it could just be a little bit better. And that's also a little bit sad. Art is hard. But it's okay. For now, I think that the tweaks that I'm making are very worthwhile. So I am pretty content to just keep going on my way. Make things look nice. Alright, we're gonna do a big movement here. Let's take a look. Okay. Relatively big. It's still fairly small because I didn't feel like I needed to move it that much. Just a little bit. So I think that the shape of this lighter area here before it goes into the dark area is a really good way to make things look nice and fluffy. Nice and round. Oh yeah, I think that helped. Look how round that looks. So my kids have been really funny this week. There's, they have a funny joke with themselves now. Because I just remember I was talking about healthy foods with my younger one, and was mentioning the effects of protein, and that they help you get big and strong and make muscles and things like that, and was describing the foods that typically have protein, lots of meats. And chicken came up because he really likes chicken nuggets. And then for whatever reason, he made the correlation that humans too are made out of meat. And I was like, yes, that is correct. And then for whatever reason, he started calling his sister a chicken. Normally when little kids are calling each other's chicken, they do not mean a tasty thing made out of meat, but that is what he was thinking. And so now they like to chase each other around, calling each other chickens, and that they're gonna eat them. Little kids are funny. And it's just strangely cute. And it just came out of this weird observation where he realized that humans too are made out of meat. I did tell him that we probably shouldn't eat humans, though. They probably wouldn't like that very much. Although I guess to be fair, the chickens probably don't either. But it was just one of those funny stories. He is truly observing the world around him. And I always love that. And he's making connections in that little head of his. They're getting so big. It's so weird to see. Just still remember when he was just this tiny baby and just did not want to be put down ever. And now he wants to go run off and do his own things. He's been having a great time building stuff with the blocks. It's always funny to see what he makes. Lately it's been reindeer. I don't know why. I would not be surprised if it was related to Christmas, since Christmas was last month. And I can tell that there's all these grand worlds in their heads. They have not yet learned how to communicate them, so I only get to see a small portion of it. But I really do like what I get to see. It's pretty fantastic. Very cute. I just really cannot get over how cute they are sometimes. It's really kind of incredible. And now, even at a young age, it's like my older one is 5, my younger one is 3. They still have distinct personalities and minds of their own. And I think it's great. It makes me very happy. Watching them just go out and do their thing. Seeing how they interact with the world and other people, because I do it very differently. It is interesting to see just how many different ways there are to interact with people. Because like the older one, she is more about the direct interaction. She generally wants the other kids to be doing what she wants them to do. And the younger one, he is much more willing to just kind of vibe with people, as long as they're kind of doing something similar in the same area. Like when we go to play places. She wants to try to get other kids to go down the big slides with her sometimes. And it gets very sad when they're a little bit scared to do so. And tries to convince them to do it anyway. And the younger one, they have these little foot powered bike things. Like there's no pedals, you just run your feet on the ground. And sometimes he'll just go into the dance hall and ride those around in circles, and just have a grand old time and be very happy when somebody else comes in and wants to do the same thing. Doesn't talk, only sometimes even looks at them, but is just very happy to see them riding around in circles with him. He's got the vibing together mentality. That tends to be how I am as well. We're just being in the same room, and we don't even have to really be doing the same thing. Just kind of being there. It works. Alright, I think I'm pretty... Yeah, I got some things that I should probably fix in the upper strand here, but I think it's okay for now. Enough that I can kind of let her nod and everything seems okay. Yes, nah, we'll fix it now. I changed my mind. I was gonna go back to working on the lower right turn, but nah, we'll fix it now. Area that I saw that wasn't quite right was over here. I felt like this dark area was a little bit too long. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Now I kind of feel like this one's sticking out a little bit too much. Let's go push him back in just a little bit here. That's the joy of being able to let her nod. I can just go up and down, and it makes it a little bit easier to spot mistakes. This is why next time I make another model, I kind of want to be a little bit less focused on... oh dear. Getting everything perfect. One moment please, my glasses lens just popped out there. My glasses have been having a time, so I'll be right back. Alright, we're good. Sorry about that. They've been having a time. I've ordered new frames, but they're not going to be here for another 2 weeks, so just kind of got to live with it for the time being. 2 weeks feels like it's going to be a long way away. Fortunately, it's fairly easy to pop the lens back in. It's just, it doesn't always want to stay there. And sometimes just wants to escape and be free. But I cannot allow that to happen because I cannot see without my glasses at all. Alright. Let's start cleaning up this area. If I recall, last time I was starting on the tunnel, which I still think actually looks pretty good. Maybe just a slight adjustment on the side bang at the top there. But overall, I do feel like this area is looking pretty good. So from there, the next step would be getting the rest of the hair over here looking good. Because, oh man, look at all that. And just, it looks very silly right now. Fortunately, that is something I can fix. It's one of the joys of being an artist. You have full control over everything that goes on. And the little worlds that get created when you draw. So if you want something to happen, you can make it happen. kind of a magical feeling, really. Sometimes it takes a while, as I am showing with how long it's taking me to finish this model. But it's all just because I want to make everything happen. I want it to be just the way I want it to be. And I'm not compromising. Personally, I think it's a good way to be. Alright. Yeah, that's a little bit better. I'm still considering raising this whole side bang up just a little bit here. I haven't decided if I want to do that yet. Because on the other hand, I don't think this looks too bad. But, it might look a little better if I did that, but I'm scared. So I'm gonna go and do this part first. I think it'll be easier to see if it looks good if there's, like, nothing else that's obviously wrong here. And right now, there's a lot of things that are pretty obviously wrong. So let's fix those up first. And once those are looking wonderful, then I can think about just other random improvements. And do whatever what makes me happy. Because I do feel like that's what art should be about in the end, just whatever makes you happy. There are a lot of things out there, and a lot of modern games especially, where I'm just like, did anybody actually want to make this? And I think that's a huge shame, because I do consider games art too. I do. And when I see a bunch of stuff out there that I'm not even sure if anybody actually wanted to make it, it makes me a little bit sad. So if you go out and make your own stuff, I hope it is at least stuff that you just really want to exist. Bring something new into this world that wasn't there before, and when you look at it, you're just like, yeah. I did that, and I really am really glad that I did. That's the best way for everything to be. Okay. So, now I guess I gotta figure out this mess. Alright, here we are. It's a mess, but I will decode it. I don't even think it's gonna be that bad. I think there's only a couple of vertices out of place. It's just, they are so far out of place that it's just making the entire mesh scream. It's okay, we can fix it. Okay, still got my work cut out for me, but it's looking better, question mark. No, I think it's better. Do I have one up here just way too high up? It's possible. Was I able to make it look good at that height over here? I guess I was. You know what? I think I'm kind of okay with that. Let's, and let me see, does it line up well over here? It actually does. Because I brought it a little bit higher over on this turn. Okay, I might need to fix that. Basically what I'm looking at is you see this little dark part right here. So when I go over here, it's about the same height, which I think is correct. It connects right over here, which I think is correct. But if I look over here, you can see it connects very slightly higher. Very slightly. And when I look down here, you can see that where this part connects is actually about the same. So I think that here, this dark part needs to be a little bit lower. And I think it's going to be throwing off what's down here. I don't want to unset the connecting hair, so I'm just going to fix it on this angle first. We're going to bring this a little bit lower, which does mean I will have to fix the lower left too. But that is fine. So I'm going to lower just everything here. Okay, that's a reasonable first step. I'm going to leave it there for now. And I'm going to start trying to line things up with the right turn first. So I want all of this to be just a little bit lower. And once I have it looking good on the lower right angle, then I can line it up with the bottom angle, and hopefully then things will be okay. In theory. So let's see how it all works out in practice. And we'll get all of this kind of smoothed out. I'm not going for pure perfection yet, just enough that it won't drive me crazy while I watch some things move around. That might drive me a little crazy, but that's okay. We'll fix that in a little bit. So I think I'm actually pretty okay with this line being a little bit thicker on the downward head turn. Just because I do think it kind of gives the impression that we're seeing a little bit more of the top of her head there. I actually think it looks pretty okay. What I really need to do is lower those highlights though, because I do not think that they look good shorter than they do on the upward turns. I think that on these downward turns they should probably actually be a little bit longer. I don't mind them kind of getting a little bit shorter as they go off to the side, but especially the ones in the front here. I do think that they should be a little bit longer than they are in their respective, I guess up, down, neutral here, so in this case the right head turn. That's kind of how I'm thinking about it. So we'll just pull all these little vertices down. And that should, in theory, make things look nice. Always in theory. It's very important to actually test your theories. Make sure it does actually look good. First, I just kind of want to straighten out some vertices here. There we go. I think this one's a little bit too long, but I think the other ones look good. And then I want to make this area right here just a little bit rounder. So let's make that area just a little bit rounder. Just had a really weird feeling of vertigo. I thought I was going to fall down. But no, I appear to be fine. That was very strange. Okay, and I'm also kind of trying to shape the tunnel while I do this, because unfortunately this highlight and the tunnel here are connected, so I kind of have to pay attention to both at the same time. And that's kind of limit what I can do here. But hopefully I can get things close enough. Just get all of these little areas looking nice. Excuse me for a second, for whatever reason, whatever gave me that big thing of vertigo is making me feel a bit funny. I will make sure to get some water and kind of lay down for a second after stream here. But I'd like to kind of finish up what I'm doing if I'm able. Okay, so I think that's looking a little bit better. I still need to clean it up. Let's see how round this looks. Let's see if it looks like we're seeing a little bit more of the top of her head and that things look pretty. Oh, don't quite like that angle. Okay, let's try a different one. Got lost in a trance there briefly, but I think I'm back. So hopefully I can just get everything the way I want it to be, and then I can put myself in another trance drawing a magic circle later today. So basically what I'm trying to work out here is that you see that there's these little dark areas between the highlights, and I'm trying to find the right angle that they should be at to make it look like we're seeing a little bit more of the top of the head here, and also a little bit less of the right side, in that the right side looks like it's going to be kind of, you know, going into the back. But right now, the effect is a little bit too strong, so I gotta rein it in a little bit. It's like I said before. You gotta find optimal roundness, optimal floofiness. Because if it's too floofy, it's just gonna look weird. But if it's not floofy enough, it's just gonna... It's not floofy enough. I mean, that's a little bit sad. Gotta have it floofy. Gotta have it floofy. But here, I have a little bit too floofy. Now it looks like she has maybe some kind of growth or horn coming out of her head, and that's no good either. Gotta still make it look like it's draping over her forehead, or the top of her head. There's nothing underneath there, so it doesn't need to be sticking out. Yeah, that's not bad. It's definitely getting there. It's better than it was. I think I can work out that last little bit here before I end for today. Alright, I'll worry about the lower part after. I just want to see if I can get this upper part the way that I want it to be. And I'll worry about the rest. It's very close. I think that is actually looking pretty good. Just a couple of spots that I need to fix up. Like right through here. Something about right through here was not quite right yet. Let's see if that's a little bit better. I don't think I quite like the way the highlights are climbing. I don't think it's necessarily bad in theory, but for whatever reason, I just don't like the way it looks here. So I'm gonna go ahead and push it to the side. I'd noticed it a few times, but I was ignoring it because the idea that the highlights would sit a little bit higher on the head when it's going down made sense to me. But for whatever reason, I just do not like the way it moves when it's going between the keyframes, so I'm just gonna push it down a little. We'll see if the me of tomorrow agrees, but I'm just going to do it like that for now. I do think that looks pretty good. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Let me straighten out the vertices through here a little bit. I feel like they're shifting in some ways that they should not be. Gotta push everything down just a little. I'm looking at some of the patterns here and questioning my mesh choices from my past self, but here we are. It's okay. She was doing her best. But I do want to actually think about these things and carry this knowledge into the future so that the next model I make will be even better. I've been debating on whether or not I want to draw something or do some more VTuber models with official art of various games. There's a couple of Path to Nowhere characters that I think I can make work well. They're forward-facing enough. And then there's a couple from Arknights where I think I could do the same thing. So we'll see what I feel like making once I finally finish this one. We'll see if I'm done in 6 months or not. Okay, we're not going to worry too much about the bottom turn here. But I will worry about the diagonal. Diagonal is worth worrying about. Okay. Almost there. I think this is starting to look pretty good. I got some spots to clean up, but I will do candle cleanup next time. And the rest is just getting the location of the highlights looking just right. And the angle of some of these shadows, like right here. There's a tiny little gray shadow right there. And that was the one I was looking at. Okay, so I think that's looking pretty good, so I think that'll be ready for me to finish next time. But I think for now, this is where I will end. So, thank you all for coming, and I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I'll see you all tomorrow.